Namaste, खुश रहो बिटिया. I am JVN Dr. Devendra Kumar Gaura, Assistant Professor in Faculty of Education, Jayoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In continuation of previous session, I am going to deal with Preface to Lyrical Ballads. In this preface to Lyrical Ballad, Wordsworth discusses that what basically poetry is. Wordsworth sets out to define this particular form of the art. In this preface to Lyrical Ballads, William Wordsworth outlines his definition of the nature and function of poetry. For him, poetry must reflect spontaneously and an overflow of powerful feelings. The passion is sky, as are moods and temperament. Although poetry must emerge from spontaneity, it must not be written spontaneously. Rather, Wordsworth himself asserts that a poem should be the result of long and deep reflection. He also cautions against being too concerned with the poetic rules of classicism. Wordsworth breaks down the poet's process of the four stages. First is observation. A person, object, or situation must simulate powerful emotions in the romantic poet. Those observations must be noted. Recollection follows, which is a stage then the poet contemplates those observations. For this tranquility is must. Memories may surface that are day old or older. The poet should contemplate those memories to explore how the emotions they provoke relate to past experiences. And he also explores the role of imagination in poetry. He begins by discussing how the neoclassical poets defined imagination, how they used it. Basically, they said that the mind was passive, recorded sensations. Imagination is a function of memory combined with ability to associate those sensations with other things that may or may not exist. He provides the example of mythical creatures in literature. For romantics like Wordsworth, imagination is much more creative, or rather than assigning recorded sensation to other objects. The imagination has the power to create new reality, to see beyond the materialistic world surrounding the poets. As for what to write about, Wordsworth states that poetry can capture any or every subject that is of interest of the mind. He discusses in greater depth the diction of the poetry. What diction is? Diction is basically the use of language, but more specifically, it is the choice of the words, phrases, sentences, and even the figurative language. While diction is important in all the literature, and Wordsworth places particular importance on the role of poetry because it is the poet's medium, whereas prose has characters, settings, plot to convey a message, and the poet's choice is language or diction. It is the sole mean of expression in the poetry. Despite this, Wordsworth argues that the diction of the poetry and prose is the same, and criticizes the neoclassicals for their artificial language. Passion should drive diction, and it shall not be ornamental. He wants poetry to center on rustic, humble situation using rustic, humble language. That is the real source of poetry, truth, and beauty. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0, Jayoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University. Hope you are all satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention in the comment section. Thank you very much for listening me patiently.